Muckluck here, and I make concise, spoiler-free game reviews that help you decide if you want to buy something without spoiling the game for you. This is Against the Storm, a city-building roguelike survival game. It is available on PC and is rated E for everyone 10 and up. The goal of this review is to determine whether or not this game is worth its $30 price tag for you. The game's setting, with no spoilers beyond the tutorial. This world is plagued by a blight storm, a deadly cycle of destruction that destroys all in its path. One major city remains, ruled by the Scorched Queen. You are one of her viceroys, a pioneer tasked with establishing new settlements and acquiring valuable resources for the crown, in between the waves of the deadly superstorm. The general gameplay. You are managing a settlement from above. You will have up to 3 races of different inhabitants, such as humans who are better at farming, beaver people who are more skilled at chopping trees and woodworking, and lizardmen who are more skilled at hunting and preparing meat, to name a few. You will unlock more races as you go, and the devs have plans to add more to the game. Each race has advantages, but anyone can be assigned to do any task. You have a red bar at the bottom representing the Queen's impatience. The world is constantly trying to kill her people. She has no time for viceroys who are wasteful. If the red bar fills, you lose that settlement. It fills if people abandon you, if they die, and also fills slowly over time. The blue bar is your reputation. If it fills, you win. The only exception being seal maps, which have a different win condition. I'll come back to that. The blue bar fills by completing orders for the Queen, completing certain tasks, and having very happy villagers. Every time a blue pip fills, a red pip is drained, giving you more time. Some buildings are essential that you will always have access to, such as a woodcutter's camp to chop trees or a crude workstation to process them into planks. Other buildings are offered as you reach certain thresholds, giving you a choice from a pool of options, and you choose the one that you think will help the most. Because of this system, no 2 settlements are the same. The hearth building is always present and keeps the village warm and the residents comforted. If you ever run out of fuel for the hearth, the easiest of which is simply wood from the trees, the people start to panic. The world runs on 3 seasons: Drizzle, Clearance, and Storm. For the most part, in the early game, Drizzle and Clearance are both everything is fine seasons, and Storm is a very short window of panic. During the storm, bad events will happen based on the forest's hostility. This red meter up here. A few examples of how to handle this are calling back the people that are chopping trees during the storm, having more hearths, throwing more fuel on the fire to build it up during the panic, etc. So with those basics in play, the game starts adding in more features bit by bit. Certain buildings can turn wood into coal, which is more efficient. You can use metal, like copper, to make tools and use those to open supply crates that you may come across. You can set up trade routes back to the main city, selling things you have in excess and buying things that you are short on. You can run pipes into the buildings and use the rainwater to make rain punk technology that makes everyone's lives easier, but slowly corrupts the buildings. To deal with this corruption, you will need a building that converts fuel into flamethrowers to use if the corruption gets too bad. Certain buildings are more efficient than others. A crude workstation can turn 6 plant fiber into 2 fabric, but a weaver can turn 2 plant fiber into 2 fabric. When it comes time to choose a new recipe, you might choose one that gives you access to something you don't have, or you might choose one that does something you already have, but far more efficiently. In between levels, you will see the world map. The amount of time you spend on a level is reflected on the progress bar at the bottom. You can push further out from the main city with each expedition, but if you fail a settlement, that time is lost and no progress is gained. If the bar fills, or any time you wish to by pressing the button, you can end the current cycle. A cinematic plays of everyone huddling inside the city against the superstorm, then start anew. The main goal is to reach these seal maps. No, not that kind of seal. If you can get a series of wins that lead you to one of these, you can attempt the seal map, which has slightly different rules, but the main objective is to find a big ancient-looking seal in the woods and do some tasks to close it back up. If you are successful, you will have more time to defeat all future storms, and are thus able to reach seals further away. There are 8 seals in the game, each one taking progressively much more time to reach and handle. Against the Storm took me about 56 hours of gameplay to beat the 4th seal, but I've played near 100 hours at the time of writing this review. The difficulty of the game comes in many tiers, with each step adding a few more challenging conditions and also more rewards. Some of the seal maps require you to be playing on a certain difficulty or higher in order to attempt them. Comparisons to other games. This game does have some features that remind me of other games, such as the hearth rules having a resemblance to the fire in the center of town in Frostpunk, and micromanaging your settlers has similar gameplay to other colony sims, such as Stranded Alien Dawn and Oxygen Not Included. The graphics. Charming and detailed. You can zoom in and out and rotate the camera completely to view things from other angles. They did a great job making everything look extremely well from all directions. Sound and music. Soothing. More than once my live audience described the ambiance as constant ASMR, with the sounds of the rain and the calm music atop it. Have a listen. Controls. Against the Storm can be played with the mouse and keyboard. I did so mostly using my mouse for gameplay and the keyboard for camera work, and I have no complaints in this department. Saving system. Being a roguelike, you cannot reload to an earlier save, but you can save the game and step away at any moment. On a related note, the game can be paused at any moment, allowing you to go AFK or take a moment to think and issue commands to your people in a crisis. Content creator concerns. None. I streamed my entire playthrough on Twitch and YouTube and uploaded the entire thing to our Mucklek Plays YouTube channel and did not experience any muted VODs or have any issues with copyright claims. Do I have anything negative to say? This game has a solid tutorial for the foundation of the game, but many of the advanced tips and tricks I learned about the game came from people in my chat or mousing over elements of the UI that I hadn't noticed in reading the text there. The game could possibly do a better job of pointing these out, but I'm happy to say that this is the only negative criticism I have. My entire experience in this title was completely bug-free except for the actual insects, which the villagers find delicious. Final thoughts. This game is a bit of a learning curve, but once you are past it, you will find yourself in a fun game loop that keeps things fresh with different variables on your various runs, a bug-free experience, pleasant music, fantastic visuals, and incredibly addicting gameplay that makes 2 AM suddenly sneak up on you. For these reasons, I have to say that Against the Storm absolutely felt worth its price. Additionally, for those interested, this game is also on Game Pass at the time of recording. This video was not sponsored, so if you enjoyed it, please consider hitting that like button to help us out with the YouTube algorithm and subscribe for more content. If you'd like to see more of my playthroughs of Against the Storm, I'll include a link to that playlist from our other channel down below. Subscribe there too. As always, a massive thank you to our dear patrons who make content like this possible. If you'd like to become a supporter and earn early access, there's a link to that in the description. Happy surviving!